Okay, so my buddy gave me these two frames for a project. This is an old MUrG. I guess it's a Taiwanese one, maybe Chinese. I don't know. It's not worth much. See, the headset's very oval. So what he wants to do is he wants me to cut this back half off, just this rear triangle, and he wants me to put it onto this frame. So cut this off and replace it with this. Okay, so I'm really not sure how to go about this. I might just chop this off, chop the front off of this one, so it makes it a little easier to work with. Just not sure how to go about it. I think I'm gonna try using some Dremel tools first, so that I can try to save as much of this as possible going up in here. It's MIG welded, it's all on top, it's not burned through, so I think I can get all the way up there. If I can, then it's gonna really. Okay, so I don't think that the Dremel's gonna work. You just can't get down in there. So I think this frame is basically junk, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and full mutilate it. Get out the power band or the grinder, get in there and get this rear end cut off. Okay, so here's where we are. I think it's a pretty good start. Let's see how well I can get this cleaned up. All right, so that's all prepped up. Both of these little tail sections ready to go. Go something like that. Yeah. Let's set up the jig, check it out. Got these all cleaned up. I think it looks pretty good. Got all the rust and everything off. Okay, so we gotta cut this one up. Gotta get the back off of this. I think I'm just gonna try and just chop it off careful and then grind them all down. I think that'll be the best way to do this. See if it's doable with the hacksaw. I think that came out pretty good. The only thing I'm worried about is if I'm gonna be able to not destroy this little brake cable tube. So we'll get it cleaned up. Some bugs are living in there. Alright. I think this looks pretty good. Maybe it'll work. Okay, so I really wanted to try and not separate this, but I just don't think it's gonna work. I'm gonna end up having to bend it or force something into place. I think I'm gonna have to grind this a little bit of a weld off, do the chain stays, then the seat stays. I don't really want to do it that way, but I think I'm stuck. This just isn't gonna, I'm not gonna get it all lined up right if I try and do it together. Actually got it off without doing a lot of damage. It came out pretty straight, pretty clean. It was a little low there in the back, but alright, I think I can fill that in. I think on this side I can probably get it just as well. It doesn't look too bad. This side a little better. So I nicked it a little down here, but that's not gonna matter. There's plenty of room on there. I have plenty of strength. All right, so I got one in place. We're gonna go ahead and set up and get it tacked on there. The other thing I wanted to show you, I printed 3D printed little adapters to go from the American to mid, because I already had the actual mid. And these, one side's threaded to help keep it together instead of just printing on one piece. And then that way I got the spacing right. Hammer number 2. Okay, so the next thing he wants is he wants cantilever or V-brake style brakes on here. So I don't really have a jig for that, so I think we're gonna try and make a jig. I'm gonna go off on my race bike and measure from here to here and across and see if I can get it to work that way. Use something to hold the mounts on so I can get them tacked on, and I'll double check it with a wheel before fully weld them out. Alright, so here's what I got. It's actually a jig I made for 990s, but the spacing's the same. The holes are just a little big, so I just bolted them in there. So comes out to about 6.5 inches. So just gonna sand those down to get a little better bite on the frame. Try and tack them in straight. Gonna double check this. It's hard to tell. Let's maybe off center a little. I don't know. See if it's gonna work. Alright, so it looks like it's gonna work. Obviously these pads aren't really bolted down or anything, but just needed to get a rough idea. So what I did is made a mark from 6.5 inches from the axle to here, and that's right about where it lined up. And then 80 some millimeters across. Just made sure they were centered up in there. I mean, you can see they're pretty good. At least put the brake jig back on and get this thing welded back up. Finish welding it out and see if he wants me to also put this thing back on, which I don't think he does, but I'm not sure. All right, so I think it's done for now. The only thing I don't like is there's that little hole there. I don't think it'll really get ridden. It is. All right. That's it, it's done. Hopefully the next video we'll put this one together.